is a live game. Nexzil versus Godar here on Summit. Round 1. And we are live here, guys. So Godar starting up in Atrium. Meanwhile, we have Nexzil starting down in sub-access, doing a 1-2-1 split.
You can see that early Gorge and Reactor Core, Grissi going straight away with the Hydras upon that cyst. So taking advantage of the fact that the Gorge can actually help build stuff a lot quicker, which is important in the balance test where stuff actually builds a lot slower. Or you can buy a Drifter, which is expensive, to actually support the building.
We got Bitey and Goldie walking into Crossroads, taking a couple pot shots there at Icefelt, who gets out of there. Power Node being dropped down. And we got R-Line in Computer Lab going ahead and building up, finishing up that RT, and over in Data Core, Sicknick and Joshi building up that power and taking control there as well. Meanwhile, no action so far from Godar.
Yeah, it's hard to know what the alien team's actually thinking of doing right now. They sort of conceded the central zone Crossroads, let the Marines build there, and they've not really taken much from that. I mean, they were just watching them, letting them build, which is rarely a really good option.
B1 harassing the RT down in ventilation. We got Vok moving back into Crossroads, getting that Carapace upgrade. As you know, one Carapace shell is down right now, and first blood. Bitey gets taken down by Mendas. Goldie takes down Mendas, and now Goldie is going to be taken down in turn. Meanwhile, that's going to leave Crossroads open for Godar. Good opening there, and we're seeing now in Reactor Core, Sicknick and Joshi moving in against that Hydra farm.
Yeah, so the alien team actually left a gap in the defense of the glass hallway and converged with the 4 aliens onto Crossroads. They won the combat 4v2, pretty easy to win, but opened up these 2 Marines to come into Reactor Core, and actually they're doing a fantastic job of getting the kills. Sicknick getting 2 kills there, leaving him 1v1 with up against a Gorge, so that's a pretty easy kill if he stays close to him. Grissi trying to roll away.
Chasing him. Oh, just
Yeah.
get him down. Very nice.
So not quite worked out in the aliens' favour there. I mean, they left Reactor Core open, and that means they had to actually come into Reactor Core and deal with the Marines that were already there, which is actually a lot harder than just holding Marines off.
R-Line finishing up that RT in flight control, and we're seeing now the Marine Sicknick in Reactor Core has been taken out. 14% on that Harvester.
You got 3 aliens kind of meandering around, actually 4 by glass hallway, not really grouping up very much, not really making much of a plan. It looks like they're actually trying to sneak past and harass, but they're not getting the kills. 3 skulks at glass hallway. We've got Goldie trying to hold it up against Data Core, which he's trying to defend. He's got Icefelt, Volk, and Gristle all converging on him. He does get a fantastic kill there. I'm not sure Icefelt was expecting that.
Yeah, Grissi now and Vok moving into Data Core up against that RT, so they're going to start fighting that down. Meanwhile, B1 in Crossroads trying to get down this RT. Bitey takes him down nicely with the pistol. Sicknick taking down Mendas in ventilation off that RT. So really good RT holds here from Nexzil. They're sitting on 6 RTs
And they've
just
not,
3
they lost
minutes
any?
into
They've
the
lost
game.
2, but such an advantage. I mean, they must be sitting on so much res right now. It's hard to know because there's bugs at the moment, but there's 6 extractors and they've held these rooms really well. You can see in Summit Reception, they can hold that one entrance. That's half of the exits from the alien spawn that they're controlling.
Bunch of 3 Godar members, a Lurk, and 2 Skulks in Summit Reception. Took down Goldie. Bitey again with that pistol, taking down Mendas.
Yeah, you've got to admire really good pistol kills, and Bitey's pulling it off every time.
Trying to get the jump on him. Oh, nice job! Eve, 33% health with Bitey. Wow. The guy's on fire.
Yeah, I was not envious of that. I think if I was in that position, I would have got killed before even taking a shot.
Yeah, me too. me too.
And he gets taken out by Hydras and some spikes from long range. He tries to push him crevice.
We're seeing now a little bit of RT harassing. Grissi taking down the one in Crossroads. Goldie moving in, shooting him off. See Mendas and B1 moving in from Summit Reception into flight control. They're just going to split off there. B1 going to flight control. Mendas going into Crossroads to help them out.
You're seeing that early 1 lurk again, so it would seem like the aliens, we've seen a couple of teams now, or maybe 3 teams, all going for that early lurk, perhaps with the Umbra, just to support the Skulks and make sure that their combat goes in the Skulks' favour. A 1v1 Bitey versus B1, actually going in B1's favour. He does a fantastic job of staying close to Bitey and doing as much damage as you could even conceive of. and they got the cyst on that as well, so extra
Godar,
damage on that
Godar's
extractor.
sitting on 3 shells right now, so they got full Kara right now. I mean, that was a heck of an investment. They're sitting on 3 extractors right now, 40 team res versus Nexzil 43 with 1 as a blueprint.
Yeah, the 3 shells is an investment, but overall the alien commander doesn't have to spend so much T-res on other stuff, so he's not got to keep maintaining armor 1 and phase gates and replacing extractors and such. The Marines aren't pushing so much, so alien commander just has to spend res on expanding cysts and getting upgrades at the moment.
Scans being dropped down in Crossroads to show that they are cysting in there. Cysts now grow slower, guys. They grow 1 by 1, and they also spread a little bit slower.
Yeah, the problem with the scan on Crossroads there is it actually reveals to the alien that the Marine's going to come in and ready to shoot, so the alien's prepared when the scan goes off, so it works in both teams' favours to scan.
Mendas taking down R-Line in Crossroads. Icefelt doing a great job on that lurk. Up against Joshy in this hallway outside Crossroads.
Yeah, the aliens have turned this around. They've got the momentum. I would attribute that to the Icefelt on lurk, who's doing a fantastic job of getting kills, keeping the spikes on the Marines so that their armor is low. And you can see now they've sisted into Crossroads. They're making a bit of a push on Data Core, and the Marines are just playing a bit more defensive now.
Goldie up against Vok in Summit Reception, making a little pot shots there. He's going to turn around. Icefelt was helping Grissy against that Data Core RT. He's going to go out. We're looking here. We got really close to fades coming out on the field. We got a few really close. B1 at 37, Mendas at 37. And
Phase
Vok,
gets dropped in Crossroads.
same.
So yeah, both teams right now, one with the phase gate and the other team with the fade, so it's pretty even this game so far.
Godar needs to secure definitely some more resources across the map and be able to hold these.
And I say the second point they've got to deal with is this Crossroads phase gate. I mean, they took down the power, so the power's back up now. Phase gate is built, so they've got movement from sub-axis to Crossroads as quick as they spawn, and they're holding flight control, which is actually vulnerable right now. They've not actually got any physical defense there, and Computer Lab is probably one they could harass as well.
Nice mines placed around that phase gate. We got High Vol, Grissy, and Icefelt just taking down Joshy in the glass hallway.
Yeah, Grissy snuck through, but Sicknick's waiting for him. Sicknick was camping that extractor position, waiting for Grissy to come past. I think Grissy snuck past by accident. One shot there did about 80 damage.
Wow, phase gate now coming down in Data Core. This is really going to nicely lock down this side of the map, guys. So really strong positioning here. They're going to be able to hammer Reactor Core from Data Core and Crossroads. But Crossroads is really going to give them that launch, that springboard into other parts of the map.
Yeah, something we're not seeing from the Alien Commander is some of these Drifter assisted spells. The Enzyme we're seeing a bit, but we're not seeing the armor increasing spell. Yeah, and Storm as well. And Hallucination is one I really want to see. I want to see how the Marines deal with that.
Yeah, Storm and Hallucination, those come with the hives. Correct, so they're on Crag Hive right now, and I believe those other ones come when you do the Shift Hive and the Shade Hive.
Yes, the mucus membrane is available so that they can increase the armor.
Mucus membrane, thanks.
Armor regeneration of these aliens. We're seeing the first few fades. We got Mendas on fade, and enough res. B1 for Valk could go fade right now. Something else that's actually interesting is the aliens and the Marines actually gain P-res even when they're dead. So you're going to see more P-res on players. They're going to be taking that at a slightly higher rate.
We're seeing Sicknick just takes down Grissy in Crossroads. They're holding Nexzil holding really strong right now. Crossroads and Data Core. They're throwing up Computer Lab right now. Godar needs to make some sort of move at this point. They need to either take down Crossroads or Data Core while they're vulnerable. Catch Nexzil out of position. But with shotguns now in the field, they got weapons too, and armor too is halfway done. Oh boy.
Yeah, Nexzil playing really well. They're controlling the phase gates. They're defending them really well, and they're pushing out just as much as they can afford to. And you can see they had a lot of alien force on data core phase gate, but they were ready to actually pull back and defend that as soon as they were needed. The fight actually didn't go in their favor though, so the aliens actually clearing that up.
Nice job there with the enzyme and data core, taking down this phase gate. So it looks like they did react. Here comes R-Line and Bitey. Right when the phase gate got destroyed, and there goes the blueprint down. Not much of a gain there. Here they go again, another enzyme, Cloud. Nice job, nice cleanup by Godar.
That's worked in the alien team's favor. I mean, that extra 15 res for a phase gate that was so tentative, I don't think they could have guaranteed that in any way. They had the 2 fades who weren't even low definitely nearby. A 3rd fade was coming from the spawn. I think a bit early for that phase gate replacement.
Yeah, very good job there. And now Data Core Hive has been claimed. This is what Godar needed.
Yeah, so Godar just gave themselves a momentum boost. I mean, they've got the 2nd hive, they've got something to work for now. They can start working on more biomass for upgrades so they can get the shadow step and the leap, and they can get the adrenaline as well.
I'm just going from Vox's point of view. I mean, just look how fast these fades can move around this map.
Checking out Mendas right now. He's just spinning around this central column, and he's got full energy as well.
Yeah, they're
so
just
these fades are
moving
so
around.
powerful in terms of movement, anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the view from Sipnik now as they push into Data Core. So Hydro Farm down. They're dealing with these fades as they're coming around, welding everybody up, making sure that that armor's full, taking full advantage of their armor upgrades.
What I want to see from the alien team is them taking out that power just before they push these Marines. See, the Marines are turning to actually defend it. It seems like the Marines want to fall back. They actually converge from the hive center to the back of the room, where they're a little bit safer from the long-range fire of the alerts.
Yeah, they're gonna force the aliens to come around the corner. There goes Sipnik, he goes down, and this is gonna be like dominoes. There goes R-Line and Bitey. Great job there by Godar dealing with that. They take down the power and data core, so no ninja phase gates can go down. Phase gates can go and be built on infestation now, guys. All structures can be built on there. And now here they go. They're taking that momentum into Crossroads. 71% there. Grissy, Icefell, and Mendas.
Yeah, you saw Goldie was sitting in the corner of Crossroads there waiting for that. He was actually anticipating the aliens were going to push straight after Data Core to the Crossroads phase gate, and Goldie made sure he did as much damage as possible by hiding, waiting for the phase to sit on that phase gate, waiting for the phase were waiting for the Marines to come out the phase gate. They weren't prepared for the guy behind them, ready to do a load of damage as soon as the Marines were coming through. So good play from Goldie.
This is great. They opened up Data Core. They're now securing that. They're now assisting into flight control. There goes an enzyme to take down that RT a little bit quicker. We do see Goldie coming right around the corner to kind of see what's going on. He sees this happening. And Nexzil comes through the phase gate and Crossroads, spills out left and right. We do have advanced weapons are up. And the prototype lab is up as well. Phase gate going down in Summit reception.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, they've got to deal with Atrium or Data Core. The crevice isn't quite so important, and flight control seriously isn't important right now.
Summit access getting hammered by Godar's offensive there. Mendas getting stuck! Oh! He got stuck right on the stairs, poor guy! Oh boy.
He just wanted to leave and he couldn't.
He's sighting a lag spike on there. I mean, we saw that he paused right there on the stairs, and then that grenade ended up taking him down. So they are down to 2 fades.
We're seeing that phase gate being used as some reception. 2 Marines pushing to crevice, but they got 3 fades surrounding them, or is it Mendas from Skull? So 2 fades. Pretty healthy.
I'm starting to see that it is so critical sometimes in these fights that there is a drifter there, you know, throwing down Enzyme, throwing down Storm, you know, Mucus Membrane, what have you. You know what I really want to see, Ren? I really want to see Hallucination, you know, being used here, because that was so fun yesterday.
2 owners with a Hallucination pushing into a base, and the Marines just call good game before they realise that they're not real. That would be amazing.
That would be awesome. So here we go. Crossroads is now being pushed by Godar. We got Grissi, Vok, Icebelt, and B1. They've taken down our line and Sicknick. And now 50% on that phase gate. There's the Drifter. Throwing down enzymes everywhere. It's definitely going to help them. Oh,
Grissi does go down.
Grissi goes down again by Bitey's pistol.
Something we haven't seen is Umbra. See, they've got a lurk, and I think they've had him for a pretty extensive amount of time, but they haven't researched Umbra, which is something we've seen from other teams just to support the life forms and make sure that it's 33% less damage on the individual life forms, and that's just so supportive and so powerful.
Vok now working on the Crossroads phase gate. Goldie coming around the corner. Bitey phasing through. Oh my god, that phase gate's at 20%. They're trying to run around and heal it. Grissi ends up going down as a Skulk. Icebelt and Vok are the only ones left. They gotta get out of there. Nexzil is showing up in force, but meanwhile, while that's happening, it allowed an RT to be taken down in Computer Lab.
Yeah, Vok playing really smart. I mean, he didn't stay longer than he could have. He knew those way more Marines than he could afford to take damage from. We're seeing a bit of push. They got a grenade launcher in defense. Sicknick taking on Mendasp in the Summit Reception Hive command chair room. And the aliens are taking control of this now. I mean, the harassed Commuter Lab is down, Crevice has been dropped, but it's not built, and ventilation is down. So the only extractors that the Marine team has is Crossroads flight control and sub-access. I don't expect them to be actually building that Crevice extractor anytime soon. They're just on the defensive right now. You can see them surrounding the phase gates, not really pushing, which is definitely a weakness of Marine teams.
Yeah, well, Godar is doing a good job applying a lot of pressure here to the points on the map that Nexzil knows is critical to hold, which is obviously diverting a lot of those Marines' attention to defending those points instead of expanding somewhere onto the map. And with the speed of those fades across the map, they could get caught out of position quite easily.
Yeah, that's the key right now. I mean, Godar, they're doing the right things in the right places, and they're not losing the life forms. They lost one fade in the base. But other than that, I mean, they've still got a lurk, they've got 2 fades, and that's just so important. You can afford to push and not lose life forms. You're going to win the game, I think.
Wow, Vok was just up against Goldie and Sicknick for quite a while and ends up getting away. We're seeing 2 spurs have been dropped right now, which is going to help with celerity.
I think that was a Gorge and a Skulk pushing in sub-access, done a lot of damage to a bunch of buildings. So the Bile Bomb, AoE damage on the infantry portal, and the prototype lab we've actually seen with the jetpacks fully researched, so I missed that.
Jetpacks are researched, and we got Vok alone in sub-access, taking down Sicknick. Now Vok is up against Bitey, doing some great damage, takes him down. He's just a one-man army!
And do you know why he's alone? Their Marines are actually in Crossroads now, defending a phase gate that was killed, so Marines losing a lot of map control right now. They've got no commander, the command chair closes on a dead body.
Oh boy. Yeah, this is tough, and now they're just back and forth. Grissi ends up going down. Vok is going to continue to try to use some guerrilla tactics there. Meanwhile, in Crossroads, as you said, that was cleaned up by Godar. Jetpacks are out. Bitey does have a jetpack.
Something interesting we're seeing is actually, I think Vok doesn't have Carapace on his fade. He's got regen, and he's playing alone. He's playing on a sort of more scout role, more hit and run. So he's going into sub-access, killing maybe 1 or 2 Marines that are alone, whilst the rest of the team is out on the map. And that regen is working so that he can hit and run more often.
Yep. 3 Marines now
really
into Crossroads. We got a phase gate going down. They're going to try to re-establish some sort of control in here. I'm seeing grenade launchers and flamethrowers out on the field. Goldie, I believe, has a flamethrower.
Sicknick's got a flamethrower as well, but he's playing defense in his own base. I mean, we've got an infantry portal on half health.
Wow.
The phase gate in base is low as well. He's just welding up and using his grenade launcher.
Godar is all over the place on this map. It's so hard for Nexzil to respond. I mean, they're down. They got slammed down to 2 RTs. Got another one, and then another one destroyed. So they're still back to 2.
Yeah, Alien's just playing a fantastic job. I mean, they're killing Marines when they're needed. They need the kills. I mean, the Marines are just struggling to push anywhere. I mean, when was the last time we saw a Marine in Reactor Corps, for example?
Exactly. Weapons 3 is about to get finished. Well, now with jetpacks, if they can reestablish their economy and kind of make some push that will take Godar off the offensive and make them realize that they need to respond. down over in sub-access, we're seeing another kind of base harassment going on by Godar. They're loving to do that.
It's the 5 P-Rays Gorge is actually allowing them to get a skulk down there. You know, skulk movement's much quicker than the Gorge, and I think they're upgrading to the Gorge and using the Bile Bomb onto the infantry portals and the rest of the buildings that are all quite tightly packed.
Seeing a robotics factory going down there in sub-access. Too far, I think, from anything for maybe arcs. I mean, that'll be a long trundle all the way to data core. They're probably getting it for the turrets, though they're really low on their economy right now. I don't know if they
Perhaps
should
for
be
the
able to
max.
afford them. But yeah, definitely for the
max.
max. Yeah, sorry about
Command
that.
station under attack.
Because the max might be
Obviously.
defensively used in sub-access. You can see the Grissi is just, he's taking everything out and they're not killing him quick enough. That's the phase gate down in sub-access. Infantry portal taking a lot of damage, and they got Mendaf just running around. It's not dying. They took the missiles up. They ran out of
job
shotgun
there.
fire.
Getting taken down by a pistol. I've seen Mendaf's die to a pistol so many times this round. So yeah, good job there with Bile Bomb. Nexzil trying to recover at that point.
Yeah, Nexzil on the back foot, and they can't afford to be replacing phase gates yet again. I mean, if they take another phase gate out and they have to replace that for 15 T-res, with only 3 extractors, they haven't got enough saved, and I think that's just gonna slow the Marines down too much.
Joshi up against Icefelt in Crossroads. Sicknick coming through. I believe he's got a grenade launcher. Yep, it's purple. 3 spurs have been completed. More attacks coming down in sub-access. Bach against Goldie, backed up by Icefelt. Goldie ends up going down.
So what we're seeing in sub-axis is Grissi. He heads into that central vent just below Crossroads, builds a gorge in the vent section, and then jumps out just above the extractor and starts spamming Bile Bomb and running straight at these buildings. But actually, they've got R-line on defense now for the Marines with the jetpack and the shotgun, so they're not going to be taking too much damage from that anymore.
Crossroads has been dropped for Nexzil. Golden now working on the Harvester in ventilation. We're seeing a nice little skirmish happening here in Summit Reception, where Godar is going to end up taking out this phase gate. There goes a nice... great job there. They're going to move this into Crossroads, where they're going to see the blueprint down for the CC. Like you said before, Nexzil cannot, you know, it's really hard for them to replace these phase gates if they lose them. They're really low on res.
Yeah, and they just invested in a second command chair and an observatory. Observatory taking a little bit of damage. I'm not sure why they decided to go for the observatory when the command chair was just a blueprint. It wasn't going to be effective enough to actually beacon anyone back there. But I mean, they're spending a lot of res on mostly additional upgrades. I mean, they've got the jetpacks, they've got the weapons and armor upgrades. They've not quite got weapons 3 and armor 3 actually, which is a little bit later than we'd expect in most games. But they just sort of not got the map control, and the aliens are playing really well. You can see combat in Crossroads again. These aliens just converging on Marines, and the Marines just not doing enough damage to take out Fades. And if you don't take out the Fades, they're going to be able to replace them quick enough. I mean, you can see all the Fades right now have got 30 plus P-res. So if they aren't killed soon, they can just replace themselves as soon as they die.
Well, Yval, Hyval going into sub-access as a gorge, throwing a couple bile bombs there from the computer lab side. And now he's with Grissi up in computer lab, joined by Volk up against that RT. We're seeing that Icefelt just ran through there, or I'm sorry, flew through there, through their main base, causing some damage. Here comes another little bit of a base hit. Mendas taking down Sicknick. And Hyval again with those bile bombs.
Grissi upgrading as well. If that's a gorge, they're going for a double gorge with the bile bomb on the sub-axis base. They're going for the arms lab actually. You've got Mendaf on the face. Probably looking to protect these gorges.
Oh!
Managed to pull it off. Sicknick sniping him from far, and Mendaf's not ready to respond to that.
Yep, and now Grissi is there, sitting there. He was like, oh, I was a little late.
Yeah, a little late. If he'd been 10 seconds earlier, that infantry portal would have gone down. The arms lab might have even gone down, which would have changed things completely.
Phase gate looks like it's in trouble in Summit Reception.
You can see that little Max on about 2% health, but he's actually managed to stay
wow,
alive.
he lived.
Little guy. He's gonna
Back in sub-access, Grissi again with the bile bomb. Looks like he's just going to do a little bit of just annoying damage. Take some time out for the Marines to
Cost them
weld
20
all
res
that
though.
up.
They took out an infantry portal, so either the they take advantage of the fact they're only sitting on 1 IP, or it gets replaced for 20 T-res, which is really expensive. They can't afford it.
Yep, sitting on 2 extractors. They're just starving. Godar is starving Nexzil right now, and I think they know it. It's like a slow, methodical kill. Right
Yeah,
now.
it's pure attrition. They're not playing aggressively. They're playing a little bit relentlessly. Like they're pushing gorges into the base, but
Right.
they know they can afford a couple of 5 P-res gorges. But they're not risking it. The fades haven't died all game, and we saw Mend have to lose one earlier on. But since then,
Yeah,
it's just life bombs haven't been killed.
yeah. And this is what Godar is known for. I mean, Godar has always in vanilla has been known for their little fade explosions that they do. They love doing it. And they're really good with fades, and it looks like they've done really well with these new fades. Grissi again going down, taking advantage of how little these gorges cost now.
Yeah, I mean he's got 5 P-res right now, but by the time he gets down to the base, starts upgrading again, and is finally ready to attack, he's going to have picked up another 3 P-res, so it's almost free.
Base and Crossroads is gone. Umbra now has been completed, so that's going to make Icefelt support way more effective. Look at them shooting an Umbra Cloud in Crossroads. We got Sicknick and Joshi coming in here. Oh boy, but with Umbra there, 32% damage reduction.
Imagine going up against 3 fades covered in Umbra, and they're ready to blink away to a gorge who's just ball-bombing a com chair for free. I mean, that is not good. Vol getting away with about 10% health.
Woo!
I can't believe he's got
gotta
away.
get out of there. Oh, that was
But
a good job by Nexzil.
Perfectly. Yeah, they've defended the room, but I mean, that's another 15 T-res down. They actually lost the observatory as well, so that's just aliens doing the same thing again, just taking out expensive buildings, and Marines can't really afford to replace them.
Forcing Versal to jump out of the chair to fire.
Could cost Mend up his life, but they haven't actually got anyone to deal with him. He's just going to vent. Yeah, he's safe in there.
This would be a miracle if Nexzil came back from this. I may, not be an expert yet, as I don't think anyone is on the BT mod, but it would be very hard for them to come back.
Yeah, they're being controlled well by the aliens, and the aliens haven't lost enough life forms, so even if the Marines suddenly kill 4 fades or whatever, they've got another 4 fades ready in the bank.
Command station taking damage.
It'll be hard to say that the Marines can come back from this at this point. I mean, they'd have to play extraordinarily well, and I don't think they can afford to.
Alright, we're seeing now a little bit of harassment in the main base. We're seeing Grissi with his Babblers taking down the RT and Crossroads. Shadow Step now has been started. Shadow Step is really, really good. Really good deterrent
Command station under attack.
for evading. I used it yesterday. I was doing really well in groups where I could just like Shadow Step all around. It's really good for speed as well.
It lets you go up now as well, right? I think you can Shadow Step vertically, not just along the ground. Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure why they were separated out so that the Fade started with Blink and then unlocked Shadow Step. B1 losing his Fade in Crossroads. He got stuck about 3 times in there.
Wow. Got lost there. So 1 Fade down, B1 is down.
A bit of a base push from sub-access. Yivol on Gorge. He's used all his energy on Bilebomb. He's taken out loads of buildings. 1 IP down. Arms Lab's extremely low. Sicknick respawning, but that's the only Marine ready to respond there. Arms Lab's going to go down to the Fade attack.
It looks like, yep. And it is going to go down. All the upgrades are lost. This is going to make the Marines so vulnerable. Look at that! 1 slice, and Versal was like, done!
Command station taking damage.
Oh my gosh, there we go. Yeah.
1 second he had a health bar. The next
That
didn't have a
was
health bar.
great. And here we go, 1%. No one can respawn now. Goldie going down. R-Line's the only one left, and Nexzil loses round 1. Great job, though, by Nexzil for trying there. Godar catching them out of positions, doing some great moves there with those fades.
Yeah, I mean, Nexzil playing really well early game. Like, the first 5 minutes were all Nexzil. They had 6 extractors. They had the map control. I mean, they had